Howdy. That's my standard starting statement. Thank you very much for having us here. I'm here with my colleague, Becky McNeil. We're both from RTI International, is the word they don't want us to put on it now. And I'm very happy to have been invited here for the last night and today, because it's been a great introduction to this community and to the people and the syndrome that we are trying to address in this network. And that's been a very great introduction, more so than I've gotten in other situations like this in the past, which has been very helpful. So, we're working on the Data Management and Coordinating Center, which will be sort of a central hub to help all the researchers and all the research progress and move forward. And we're going to be trying to put together the infrastructure for the collaboration and innovations going to go on. We want to be able to help everybody remove barriers and be able to move forward with meaningful research and make that productive and efficient. So I'm going to do just a couple of slides about RTI, because I don't think as many people are aware of who RTI is and what we are. Not so much to do an advertisement, but I think we all need an introduction to sort of get going what's going on and everything. And RTI is very much into the global good right now, and not right now, but it's been our mission for a long time. The mission statement will change a little bit every once in a while, but the big thing that's always been sticking with us is improving the human condition. And that's what we try to do. We take a knowledge and we try to turn it into practice and develop knowledge that can actually have an impact on people's lives and how it operates. And we're a not-for-profit organization. I use not-for-profit instead of non-profit because we're not accepting donations so much as that we don't operate with any stockholders or other things that for any small amount of money that we do make gets plowed right back into the organization instead of going out to others. So we don't have those kind of conflicts. We can make decisions in amongst ourselves and try to emphasize our objectivity, and this is just some of the values that we have on, but I think objectivity and integrity are two of the things that RTI really focuses on, and that I do in the work that I'm going on with. That I don't want to be biased in certain opinions, and we want to have integrity in the work that we do so that it supports the findings and the research, and then it adds value to it because we are respected partners in the areas of research. Just a quick thing is, I've been here for RTI. I started April 7th, 1977, so it's been 40 years ago. And when I started, there was about 750 employees. And it was a sizable place then, it seemed like, as a young kid of 24. But now it's grown to be a very large organization. That's FY16. FY17 is going to push $1 billion finally. We're kind of proud of that. But we have offices all over the place. The main ones are in North Carolina and also in the DC area here, supporting our different clients and partners that we're working with. We've got about 5,000 staff worldwide now, and offices around the world, across the US mainly, but also in the Middle East, in India, China, and along Latin America and Africa too. We do a lot of international work with infrastructure building and technology, and also worldwide health studies. So there's a lot of different practice areas we work in. Health is the area that I'm mainly in, and probably the largest, and that's the reason it's listed at the top here of what goes on at RTI. But there's different areas too, of education, international development, energy research, environmental, other kinds of area. But health is the big thing that we're in here today, and that's also one of the largest areas at RTI of work. And in the health area, we work in public health research, healthcare transformation, behavioral health, many different things. But I added this one at the bottom to make it clear that the group that Becky and I are in, of a couple hundred people, deal mainly with these sort of data coordinating centers and helping research move forward and contribute biostatistics, informatics, and that we add those sciences to the areas of the actual domain that's of interest, to expand that and move it forward. All right, that was about RTI. So now let's get to the actual coordinating center and what's going on at RTI. I think the first thing is we should be able to unleash the potential of the network's researchers by removing infrastructure and coordination constraints. We want to empower the clinical sites, the 3 clinical sites, plus whoever else might come in with us to be able to fulfill their mission and get the work done. That's the big thing. And we do that through central management. We help develop the protocols. We engage with the community and the stakeholders that are going on. We help with communications and logistics. One of the important things we're going to do in this one, which was a hit in the whole, I think, in the application, is try to put together an advanced infrastructure. How can we take the various locations and data streams that are available, either from extant data sources, external ones, or ones that are going to be generated through actual clinical studies going on within the network, and combine those in a way that the data can be shared, accessed, and used to address the different topics and areas that are of need. And we want to help create this community of innovation to help everybody so that we can coordinate and put things together and make actual gains in moving forward. All right, so this is a graphic that we had in our application, and I think it epitomizes a method that we want to use to help move things forward. And the idea is there's a life cycle to research. You start out with conceiving what it is you're doing. What's the identify, what is the problem we want to address? And we consult the stakeholders and groups within the area and develop a formal concept. Then we refine the goals so that it becomes a well-stated idea and process that we want to achieve and move forward with. Then we take and we design the study. We end up doing different kinds of design applications, which would include RTI also in that thing around the statistical design, the measurement design, and to provide the basis for scientific validity underlying things, so that when we publish the results, people have confidence that we have a well-designed study and that the results can be trusted and used. And then we help develop the protocol. That's an area where we get in with everybody to help make sure that it's a well-structured protocol, that there are well-defined procedures going on, so again, that we prevent any biases or problems that are happening in it. Then we'll pull together and move from a design stage to, like I called it the gather stage in here, in which we develop efficient systems and infrastructure and procedures that will allow the study to move forward efficiently with few bumps and bangs as it's trying to move forward. So that we're going to collect de novo data, or the new data that might be coming in from a particular study, but we're also going to want to integrate that with any pre-existing data and structures that are coming forward. Then we'll consolidate that in a way that we can have an analysis sort of stage, where we can put these so that there are efficient systems and locations where we can get this sort of federated data repository, which may be a centrally located one at RTI where new data all comes in, but there are different data sources, repositories, and other places where data are resident. And what we want to do is help build federated systems so that somebody can come to a web portal that's associated with this organization to be able to access that data and combine them without having to actually move all the data to one location, but they'll be able to access it as if it was in one location and available. Trying to put that kind of activity together. Then we'll provide different kinds of data mining tools and analytic tools too, that are layered on top of this. Our idea was to take a lot more from the new data science type aspects that are going on, in which they use a lot of these special artificial intelligence, machine learning, and other kinds of activities, and even just simple query tools. How many cases are out there like this for future analysis to plan? But hopefully we can do more than just simple queries. We'll be able to actually help you answer questions and stuff out of this. And this will provide an interactive analytics platform. And then there's a whole process of where we disseminate. We ask questions. We go back into the data, get some more answers. And then we use this as a process to inform stakeholders, interpret data, and disseminate those ideas so that we have an impact on new ideas and potential treatments and activities, or in the initial case of this organization, to try to understand what is the etiology of what's going on, because there's a lot of questions about where are places that we could intervene to do things, and we need to understand better what is the real etiology of the activities occurring. And then the idea too is that this will then inspire new studies, and we can start over again. We can keep going and going here to try to improve the situation for the CFS patients and help researchers intervene to help with their studies. Becky made this up. I believe it's what do they call it, Becky? A word cloud. I think she took our application, and so data was the big thing. They showed up, but we'll help work with MECFS. There's a research network. We're going to provide access to data. We're going to deal with patients and clinical activities. We're going to support the studies. There's a whole bunch of other things going on in there, but I think that does capture some of the things that are going on that we're going to be able to do here. And so our goals is to foster collaboration among the networks, get all the different sites that are going to have their own independent studies, but also what can we do together to make us stronger and more informative by working together and the synergies that come out of that. We want to have broad uses of the data. So we're going to have a scalable platform that will allow the data to be available. We want to incorporate these common data elements that are being talked about. We've got some ideas about different wearable devices. RTI has a big program in that and is making a lot of use of different wearable devices. So we wanted to emphasize that could be one of our contributions to the consortium also. And secure access to those analytic portals that I was talking about. And so we want to gain novel insights by using analytic statistics. And part of our application talked about some qualitative methods too, where we may try to have some focus groups and with different groups to try to understand what are some of the issues more deeply. And that's a lot of what I've learned here last night and today that's been very helpful, understanding what are the issues that are affecting people's lives. And then engagement and knowledge sharing. So we know it, we need to get it out so that it can affect practice elsewhere, affect the funding stream, and help make new things available. Here's a boring org chart, but I'm going to point out a few things on it that I want to. First of all, we're working very closely with Dr. Peter Rowe from Johns Hopkins. He's a member of our team and will be providing us with better insight and better communications with all of you and how things are operating. Solve is part of our study and application. In fact, I'll note that while I thought it was a great idea that we hooked up and started working together, in the review of our peer review of our application, that was a strikingly strong point that resonated with the review committee. So we're very proud and happy to be working with you, both from before that, but then after that I realized how valuable that was, even improving that. Then I want to point out we've got like 3 cores that we're going to have within our group. One is more with program coordination and administration, study management, and making sure that we break down all the barriers of logistics and happenings of what's going on. There's going to be a very strong informatics core that helps put those systems together. And I'll note there's 2 areas under that I want to emphasize. One I'll call, it's more like clinical data management. This would be used more when we're actually enrolling patients and conducting studies and doing the systems that are more usual around clinical trials. But also we have this other area here, which is this data architecture. How do we build a large, viable system to be able to incorporate all these data together and put it together with you all? So that's an important aspect. And then Becky will be administering our analytics core. And again, this is an area where we're trying to bring in some more of this data science type activities where we can have machine learning and other kinds of analytic tools that are setting along with those large integrated and federated databases to make things happening. And then I also want to note, here's Hannah Lindquist, who's on our team. She is a CFS patient who works at RTI, and as soon as she saw that we were starting to look at bidding this kind of work and putting in an application, she contacted me and a couple others, and we immediately pulled her into the team. And she's very active in some of the social media activities around CFS and other activities, and so that she's provided greater insight, and she'll be playing a major role in our activities of how we do community outreach and also registering different people in the studies. And then I think the biggest thing we need to remember is here, this is collaborative research between us and the different studies and sites and research that are going on. And we want this to be a back and forth process here where we can help each other. So let's get going. I'll blame Becky for this one. She's more the artiste than I am. So if there's questions or anything, I'd be happy to engage them, or if Becky has anything she wants to add. Okay, thank you.